I am so excited to for you agreeing to be a part of the story in the first place. Second, you are not just a LinkedIn influencer, but you've started this cult. We got your name from 2-3 people when we were searching for the rising stars, and they were not just telling about your profile or the work that you do, but the kind of mindset shift that you've got into them, right? With your Josh talk and everything coming live, I think we are seeing the other side of Daksh, who is very different from just the professional LinkedIn profile, right? And I think that has what has got us to, interview you and get the behind the scenes of your stories of how you're hustling, managing time, got this idea, made everything on LinkedIn, and now just taking it forward. So it's an honor to have you here. I'm so excited for this.
Thank you, Nitish. That was a really sweet setup to the entire interview. I wasn't aware of this background as to how you reached out and the process behind it. So I really appreciate firstly to those who've referred and who've shared such a sweet feedback, and then of course to you and the entire team at Stori. I think they've done a great job, and I'm really looking forward to this interview as well. It's been a while. I've kept aside most of my interviews. I haven't been giving too many lately. I've been focusing a lot on work. But now I think it's actually one of those interviews which even I would want to give, not following the conventional way of things. So yes, thank you for having me here, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Perfect. So my first question has to be this: what makes you Daksh? What makes you different from the crowd? Like, what's one quality that's a non-negotiable?
I don't think I'm different from the crowd. I think I'm just anybody else. I'll be very honest about it. It's just the process that I follow. With respect to what I want to do and how I want to do it, which just adds value to it. I mean, that's the multiplier. But I don't think I'm a different person at all. I'll be very honest about it. So I'm not I don't have any different side. I don't know what vibe you get through this interview, but this is exactly how it would be even if I was talking to you on an offline system or for an offline interview. So it's going to be the very same personality and the very same Daksh that you would see in either of the cases. But yes, I think the process of staying ethical, the process of believing in myself and believing in one factor that the boss is not always right. So accepting that I am not always right, and that ego has to stay out of the room whenever I'm working with my team, with myself, and whatever I want to do, and just staying simple and grounded as much as possible. I think that is what really helps people relate to what I'm trying to say. So this is who I am, and it's the process behind it which is slightly different, and yeah, probably that's the reason why.
I guess that's right. All right. So the engagement rate, the followers, the fan following, everything on an unconventional platform like LinkedIn, because it's not Instagram. How did you do it? How do you plan your content? Because it just seems to talk from heart, doesn't seem scripted or written from another writer or something. So it just feels like I'm communicating with you. How do you crack the code of writing so well, being there, putting yourself like you are and everything?
Good question. I actually haven't been asked this question ever, to be honest, because I started writing and making these posts on Instagram first. And I thought, so the process behind writing those posts and writing those quotes and those sentences was truly something that came from the bottom of my heart. And it would be, I want to write something, what do I write on? Or I got into a conversation with somebody and that person said something about, probably about work environment or work culture or relationships or breakups or, something to do with positive attitude. And that, sort of hits me. And I come up with my own version of that very topic and I just start typing, literally just start typing. I get onto Canva. So I used to do that on Canva earlier. I would just log into Canva, start typing, open the next page, then start typing again. And that was pretty much the same content which I was using for LinkedIn. So the process eventually remains the same, which I would, use on LinkedIn as well. And whenever I want to, so I posted something today as well on LinkedIn, and I just got onto my LinkedIn profile. I got into the section, something that I've been truly believing in for quite some time. First, they laugh at you, but you don't stop. Then they ignore you, but you don't stop. Then they humiliate you, but you don't stop. Then they respect you and recognize you, but you still don't stop. And you just smile back at them, but you don't stop. So, this is something very simple. And it just comes naturally. I don't have to really sit and script it, like you said. And I think that is one thing. So whenever I look at fellow content creators on LinkedIn, and I look at their posts, I really have this inferiority complex, to be very honest, because
Oh,
yeah, I don't know why, but I don't think I can match that level, because for me, I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. It's just coming out naturally. This is something that has happened to me in the last 24 hours, or somebody just said something which I just wanted to pen down. So it's really natural, it's really experiential, so it's not something that I'm making for the sake of writing a post. There's no pressure whatsoever. So yeah.
got it. Makes sense. All right. And how do you network on LinkedIn? Like, is there a hack that you want to discuss with anybody who's watching this interview right now?
So I think there's a fundamental difference between networking and building relationships. A connection request on LinkedIn adds to your network, but on LinkedIn, not your net worth. There's an old saying, your network is your net worth. I strongly disagree to that. Highly strongly disagree to that, because that is not your net worth. You could be a connection on my LinkedIn profile, Unnati, but when time comes and when probably I need some form of help and guidance, you might even seen zone me, and you might say that, hey, I don't think I know the answer to this question, and you might not even put an extra effort to connect me with the right person. So is that adding to my net worth? No, it's not. But if we have that professional relationship, we know each other, we've spoken about certain things, we like each other in terms of the vibe, professionally we are inclined, or something beyond that. So if time comes and I drop you a message and I say, Unnati, hey, this is what I'm looking for, can you help me? You will put in that extra effort, because we have that relationship that we share, and that is what is adding to my net worth and not my network. So in order to, this is a, whatever you said, the word that you used, the game changer or the key factor, the hack. This is what the hack is. Start talking to people. Don't over talk. Don't try to slide into their mailbox, but just develop some form of a professional relationship. Not upfront that, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to reply to your messages. I have an inbox full of unread messages, because I don't even know who these people are, but they've connected with me and they want some form of help. So I'm not going to do that for everyone, right? But for somebody who probably I see regularly on Instagram or on LinkedIn, we are developing some form of a relationship, some form of connection, and that is when I actually put an effort. So this has been the differentiating factor.
And the key rule for you, that you are not
Yes,
just doing it for
absolutely,
the sake of it.
absolutely. And it also happens the other way around. It's not just me connecting with somebody, it's also somebody connecting with me. So this has, this really plays a very important role.
Got it.
Because somebody who probably has connected with me is asking for some form of guidance or help. I eventually help them. You might say that I'm adding to their net worth, but if time comes and they are able to help me in some way or the other, that is also adding to my net worth. So I think it works both ways around. That's for sure.
Got it. And so my next question is, which is one founder or LinkedIn profile that you religiously follow? Or a profile, or are you more of an Instagram person and you have named
I'm
it?
actually more of an Instagram person.
Mhm.
LinkedIn is something that I go on to just to understand what is it that people are talking about, what is trending, what is latest. Definitely LinkedIn hasn't really reached that level of users and interface as Instagram is today, right? So things that come on Instagram might be diluted till the time it actually comes to you, but something coming on LinkedIn will be shown to you right up front. So LinkedIn actually helps me to get or catch hold of things which are extremely new, trending, have just come into the market. So that is one thing that I do. I do scroll through certain things, but overall, I've been working around students. I've been working around corporate training programs. So most of my interaction is going to be, along with those people. So I'm not a content creator on LinkedIn. Absolutely not. Although I post, I write content, yes, but I'm not using LinkedIn for content creation purposes only. That is just one aspect of it, so that people relate to what I'm writing and what I'm doing, but that is not my sole agenda behind
Hmm, got it. Makes sense. So you're a proper businessman on LinkedIn.
it. I don't know the way you said this, proper businessman, but definitely yeah, something to do around that.
But it's more business than BS.
Yes.
Got it. All right. So my next question is, you know that there are tips that people give and they think that this is underrated. That what's underrated about LinkedIn and Instagram as per you, because you've been using both of these platforms religiously and amazingly. What are the few things that you feel are underrated? Like the last time I asked this question to a person, he said the search bar is so underrated. That was, yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's
absolutely.
underrated for you.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with whoever said this. This would have been my answer, to be honest.
All right.
If you actually want to connect with somebody or seek guidance from the right person, what kind of a company should I be getting into? What should be my salary? At what level should I negotiate my salary if I'm sitting for the interview? How do I know what that salary should be? If I want to, let's say, get my resume verified, let's say I'm trying to, connect with somebody in the company, talk to an HR, that search bar is everything for you. Everything. You just need to type the industry or the company or the position that you're applying for, get into the filters, and you will literally get a list of all those people in that position at that level in that company.
Who can I?
You know who these people are, free of cost up front.
Yeah.
You don't have to call somebody and try to find who that right person is. It's right there. And similarly with, let's say I want to work in XYZ company, but I don't know who the HR is. So I get onto the company page, I go onto the people section, and then I just look for the HR, or I just look for whoever I'm trying to connect with. I go onto their profile, I first scan through their profile, I send them a request, add a note, and that is where the conversation starts. It's so simple. It's just that people don't understand it. So I take a lot of sessions on LinkedIn as well. I took one very recently on last Wednesday as well. And I told them exactly this, that you have to add that note. You really have to come out of the comfort zones and start networking and then build relationships. So networking is a broader picture and relationship is where your net worth actually lies. So that is the funnel that you have to create. But it will start from there. You will have to do it.
All right, got it. And where do you see yourself in the next 2, 3, 5, 7 years down the line? Given that your start has been so awesome, do you have
No.
5 business steps planned ahead of you?
Absolutely not. To be very honest, absolutely not. This has been my modus operandi protocol for the last 18 odd months, that I look at 1 month or 2 months at a time. I don't look at anything beyond that. This is one formula that has really worked for me well, considering all the recent and very recent achievements, to be honest, has been probably because I did not foresee it. I wasn't working for it. It wasn't my dream to be there. It was the process. So if I don't think of anything beyond 2 months at a time, 60 days, 65, 70 days max. That's all I look at. Working in bits and pieces, I break it down, and then wherever time takes us and destiny takes us, because there are so many things happening around you. And if I say that, hey, no, I want to reach there, but I might be wrong, and I might take them, on a very different course, probably avoiding possible opportunities on the way just because I could not see that. So it's important to break it down. I'm not playing safe. I'm playing it the way it has worked for me so far, and that is to break it down in multiple projects, one at a time, and then keep building that on. Because when I look at building a structure, it's about one brick at a time.
Yeah.
Right? It's one brick at a time, and this is something that I've really followed. This is what my team follows. Nobody asks, nobody knows what we will be doing 3 months down the line. Nobody knows that. Absolutely nothing. That is something that we start talking about when we hit, let's say, the next 45 days, 50 days. उसके बाद फिर planning शुरू होती है. अच्छा ये भी figure out हो गया है. This is what we are doing, and what next? And by then we already know the answer to what next. वो आ ही जाता है. And then I have a separate team now working for the next 2 months. So that is how I plan it out.
Got it. All right. And if I had to ask you one thing that has worked for you in terms of your personal brand, because more than anything, I think you are like the Ranveer Alawadia of this industry, wherein wherever you associate your name, that gets bigger, right? So the personal brand is very strong. And so what do you think has worked for you when you're creating that personal brand?
I appreciate that. Firstly, Unnati, Ranveer Alabadia is a big name. I've got this reference quite a few times, to be honest. But the process of personal branding has been not beating around the bush. It's to the point. It is relatable. And personally, that is the game changer for this generation. If it's not relatable, they don't know who you are. It has to hit them. It has to connect with them. And the same thing happens with me also. If I am talking to somebody And if that person is not able to connect with me, I'm not able to relate myself with what he's saying or she's saying, I will not be able to connect. I will not be able to build that relationship and that personal brand. I see so many people doing certain things on Instagram, but somewhere they lose out on not only the interest, but also the relatability factor. So improvisation, like I said, I don't have that set plan where I want to see myself, because that will define what I have to do at every step. And the moment I define it, I will actually lose out on what probably could have been the opportunity which I missed out on. So I keep talking to my audience. I keep talking to my people. I keep asking them, are you liking it? Is it relatable? Give me suggestions. The voice changes, the lighting changes, the topics change, the way of expressions changes. And that is what makes it really far more relatable. So otherwise, content is out there. You don't need to really create content. Content is already out there in abundance, but it's the process, it's the way you connect and relate with people that really matters, whether it's on LinkedIn or on Instagram, or even while just talking on an offline system, when you're talking to somebody face to face. That is also a relationship and that relatability factor that you build, and that is when people take you seriously, and that is the personal brand.
Got it. All right. And I see a very strong mindset behind everything that you're saying. And you just look so sorted. Is there any book, or is there any course, or is there anything that you think has made you change that way? Is there a thing that anybody can read or consume and they can just get into the mindset of being Daksh or something like that?
Okay, this is a lot of flattery, and yeah, मैं हजम कर नहीं पाता हूँ actually, to be honest. I'm not a big book fan, to be honest. Something that might backfire, but I don't read too many books. A few which really make sense, I pick on them, but I don't read the entire book, the major aspects, the key highlights. That is how I am. That is how I take information from multiple places. And book is also one of, or any book for that matter, is also one source of content and inspiration and techniques that you can sort of understand. I read a lot. I read a lot. I read the news. I read articles. I read blogs. So I get onto Google News and I look at everything possible happening around the world. Something that interests me, I click on it. I watch a video or read an article. I know exactly what is happening, and that just keeps me updated with everything. And when you are updated with everything, there is a certain level of spike in your self-esteem, that hey, okay, I'm not an idiot, I'm not clueless about what is happening, I know a lot of things. And then comes in the personality aspect, where you really have to plan out every single day, that maintaining that checklist, exercising at the same time, talking to friends, meeting new people, just willing to get out of our comfort zones, not hooked on to Netflix and Amazon Prime. That just creates, all of these combined, actually, when they all add up together, they actually form that, again, brick by brick, that wall that you see. So in very sweet enough of you to call me sorted. I think I know what I'm doing and I can figure things out, that's for sure. But again, the boss is not always right. And that is also what keeps you grounded at the same time. Because when I know that, hey, I'm a sorted person and I will get through it, you become overconfident. And there is a very thin line between being overconfident and confident, and one should not cross that line. So that's how it is. So breaking down things in smaller things, in smaller perspectives, reading, staying updated really helped me. And also watching a lot of videos, watching how people are talking, how people are behaving, observing, and trying to inculcate those things in myself. So yeah, that has really helped me.
Okay. And this is, and before we move to the rapid fire section, which is like this, and this is not in my list of questions, but I now really want to know, after listening to you, do you have a to-do list?
Yes.
And how many hours do you work in a day? Like, when do you start? Because
fair enough, good question.
And you are wearing a formal shirt. And I've interviewed a lot of people who just casually come, and I'm pretty sure if they would have stand, I would have seen their pajamas. So I just want to know how, like, I see that formal thing and everything. So how do you structure or plan, or how do you, like, how many hours do you spend working and stuff?
Okay, so to answer the to-do list question, actually I've posted a lot of things around that. I have this spiral diary, which I actually have two of them now, for two different things. I maintain that every single day. So every night when I get out of office or my work is about to end, I am preparing my to-do list for the next day. That helps me analyze and keep me under check that, hey, these are the things that I need to do. And I also divide my day into two halves, which is the first half before lunch, second half after lunch. Now, what that allows me to do is I'm not carrying that to-do list everywhere. But subconsciously, when I'm writing that to-do list, I know how occupied am I in my first half and how occupied am I in my second half. So, even this interview is happening in the first half, at 11 a.m. For those of you who don't know, this is happening at 11 a.m. We started at 11 a.m. So I know that I've given you time over there. I can still incorporate a couple of things before I actually get down to lunch. And then my second half is an entirely different story. So I break it down on my to-do list. The second part of your question was, how many hours do you work in a day? It completely varies and ranges from the kind of work that I'm doing. I can start at 10 in the morning, end at 10:30 in the night. I can start at 10 in the morning, end at 1:30 in the night. I can start at 10 in the morning and get done by 2, depending upon how I'm doing it. So again, like I said, I'm breaking it down into parts, into bits and pieces. How much of work do I need to delegate? Do I need other people to take care of? Because I cannot do everything myself. So I have the right people. Also, the right work for the right person at the right time is also important. Otherwise, it's going to backfire and come back on me. So all these things go hand in hand. I mean, it might just sound too complicated or too glamorous, or delegation, etc., etc. It's really simple and it's very basic, to be honest. It's just that you have to be aware of what you can do and how you do it, and get this mind, this brain floor of yours really cleared out and sorted. You should know exactly how things proceed for yourself. So understanding yourself, understanding who you are and how you actually work is really important. So self introspection is actually self. So introspection is really important. Definitely plays a very important role.
Okay, got it. And now we move on to the rapid fire section, and this will just end.
All right.
Okay, Daksh, branding or content strategy?
Branding.
Okay. Content or consistency?
Consistency.
Inbound business or outbound business?
Both.
All right. LinkedIn or Instagram?
Both.
All right. Underrated feature of LinkedIn?
The search bar.
Okay. All right. One thing about personal branding that nobody talks about, but it's the secret hack. Staying relatable is constant. What's your second one?
Secret hack, personal branding, smiling.
All right. If I had to ask you, how do you brainstorm the some parts of your content ideas that are not very personal? So the first is you put your personal self out there, and the second is, how do you think that, okay, I need to post about this agenda? Do you go to the Twitter trending section or the Google News, or what is it? Like, how do you find that idea?
Good question. Good question. When I don't have something that is coming from the bottom of my heart, or is something that I'm not able to create myself, it's something to do with the news. So something trending, something happening. So instead of getting onto Twitter, I get onto Google News to figure out what is trending in terms of business, marketing, sales, or whatever is happening around HR, interviews, etc. Something that I really talk about, and pick something from there, write my own perspective, and post it immediately. So it barely takes me about 10 minutes to do that.
All right, got it. And what do you think is the future of content on Instagram and LinkedIn?
I hope it's not a fad, and I hope it's here to stay. It's just going to improve. It's going to evolve it evolved from a photograph to a video, then to Instagram stories, and today to Instagram reels. It will evolve, right? So content is here to stay. Content has always been there in different forms of media. It's just that it's going to evolve. So I'm really excited to see what's in store for us next. So yeah, it's going to evolve. That's for sure. And it's here to stay.
Perfect. I think I got all my answers, and this was the most perfect start to the day. Thank you so much for joining in. It was an honor and it was a pleasure. And now I know what's the hype about.
Oh my God. Thank you, Unnati. This was
all right.
And you haven't failed to flatter me today. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for having this done. I truly enjoyed this. Has actually been one of the fun conversations and interviews I've given. Otherwise, it's really boring and it's to the point and it's all very monotonous. But I think this was really lively, and you're a good interviewer for sure. And thank you for having me here. And I'm looking forward to the final output.
Absolutely.